The first time I experienced depression was at the end of my eighth grade year. Next on the Mental Health Challenge. At this time, it was just depression. Not to minimize how horrible it was, bipolar did not invite itself to my world yet. For all the mental health professionals out there and everyone else, I will discuss what the psychology books say when it comes to medical terms, symptoms, etc. Although I do have a degree in psychology and I am a trained peer support specialist, my certification was achieved through the DBSA, Depressive Bipolar Support Alliance, an excellent resource for anyone touched by a mental health challenge. I'm not qualified or privy to all the psychological research that there is out there. My specialty and mission are to provide hope and education along with the tools that I have learned along the way. I will leave the detailed psychological education to the professionals. I will even list resources at the end of my videos. So, in the eighth grade, first, let me give you a baseline of me and my behavior before depression showed up uninvited. I was shy and relatively quiet. I was very silly and had the ability to make people laugh. I wasn't a joke teller, just a one liner type of guy that was able to see funny things when interacting with my friends and family. I was popular mostly because of sports, and I was what I would call a genuinely nice guy. I was a pretty good student and had lots of friends. When depression first showed up, it was a slow process, but seemed like it hit me all at once. I did not know what it was. I started to withdraw from social scene. I lost my sense of humor. My life started to become really cloudy. One of my friends started to call me a worrier. Some other friends kept asking me, "What happened to you?" They would also say, "What's wrong with you? This Vinny's no fun to be around. We want the old Vinny back." I started to feel anxiety, the kind that you wanted to jump out of your skin. I became fearful and lost my ability to focus on my schoolwork. For the entire year, I kicked butt in math. I loved competing with my buddies when it came to taking tests. I was always the last to finish, but I aced every test. When depression took over, I forgot everything. I could not concentrate and I failed my final exam. It was like I never did a math problem in my life. I had a tough time sleeping, and sometimes I just didn't want to get out of bed. My life was slipping away, and I could not stop it. I kept slipping deeper and deeper into a state of lowered feelings. My thoughts went from incredibly positive to, "I can't." The fear and anxiety were overwhelming. It was baseball season, which was my passion. I was pretty good, and I just really loved the game. I started playing even though I prayed for rain so I didn't have to play. How I felt was not visible to people looking in my direction, but inside I was in a horrible state of confusion and engulfed in the flames of fear. I was able to play and played pretty well. I guess my natural ability took over. In one game, I hit a home run and threw three guys out in a row that tried to steal second base. As a catcher, I had a strong and accurate arm. High school was next. How the heck was I going to be able to function in high school? Football was the second most important sport to me, going into the late summer and fall. I was looking so forward to playing at the high school level. Because of this debilitating effect depression had on me, I had no energy and no hope of making it to high school. I just wanted the pain to end. I did remember telling my buddies that I was going to be the starting running back for the freshman team. It was a long shot. The way I was feeling and acting, I became a lifeless zombie. All I wanted to do was watch TV and sleep. So, what brought this on? Why me? I'm Christian. Wasn't I protected from something as horrible as childhood depression? Looking back, there was some heavy and emotional things that had gone on in our family. My mom had experienced a horrific depression that was a huge stressor on our family. My mom was completely suffocated by deep sadness prior to my episode. Watching her was heartbreaking. It was like my mom had disappeared from our lives. I asked my dad if she was going to be okay. He always told me yes. So I believed him and continued on as most kids would. I also had another family member with a drug problem. This also disrupted our family dynamics in epic proportions. I accepted the fact that we were going to be okay and life in our home would get better. Some things did get better and life went on. We did get our mom back. Here's the thing, I didn't know how to talk about what was going on during these emotional times. I internalized my fearful thoughts and emotions, especially anger. Keeping all of this to myself seemed to catch up with me later. I did not know how to talk about what I was feeling and thinking about at that time. I did not know I was supposed to talk about my thoughts and feelings. I believe because of my lack of knowledge and genetics, depression may have been invited by accident. The science of genetics says that a predisposition of mental illness can be passed down. This means if conditions present themselves like stress with no tools to fight, depression can be passed down the family tree. I believe anger turned inward can lead to depression. I eventually felt better and started high school as a whole new person. I was determined to never experience the atomic grip of depression that paralyzed my soul. It seemed like this intruder that crushed my once joyful spirit ran its course and moved on. Talking more seemed to help. So, what I would do differently? Could I have prevented this life altering depression from showing up? I cannot fight genetics, but I believe I can change my behavior by renewing my mind. I learned that talking about everyday emotions, thoughts, and feelings is an immensely vital tool to be used to move towards the road of recovery. If garbage stays in our system, the negative thinking, blame, hurt, and anger and fear, I believe destruction can form on the inside and then make an appearance on the outside. All these emotions can and will build up over time. Based on my personal experience, letting them out in a healthy, productive way can be extremely powerful and provide steps towards healing as well. Not forgiving can keep us bottled up too. Forgiving others is key. It's not for those that have hurt us, it's for us. Not forgiving others can keep us in our own prison. It will stop you from growing towards recovery. I have experienced this firsthand. So, being aware of our negative thought pattern needs to be a trigger to change from self defeating thoughts to positive, productive thinking. This can lead to changing a bad habit of not talking to letting out the garbage that does not belong. Sometimes hearing ourselves talk can be a catalyst to a lift in mood. Listening is the key. I learned that I have to be responsible for changing my behavior instead of blaming others who have hurt me and tried to destroy my character because of their own insecurities. People may have done and said horrible things to me, but it is up to me to change how I process and behave. Renewing my mind is a daily task on my sticky notes of things to do. What I put into my brain affects what comes out. I wish it were as easy as it sounds, but it's not. If it were, my struggles would have stopped my freshman year of high school. I never imagined that I would have a roller coaster ride waiting for me. I'd like to say the best is yet to come. In a way, there are a lot of good things to come, but it got a lot worse at first. My education had just begun. Unfortunately, it was not enough to save me from what was ahead. Thank you for joining us today. Please help grow our channel by subscribing, smacking that like button, and sharing with your friends and family. And do not forget, you are loved, you have value, and you are needed in this world. Peace.